Hey everyone, my name is Nicola Porto, and we are sitting down to talk today with Kayla of Every Daughter. She's going to tell us a little bit more about herself, about this organization, and what they're up to in our city. But I just want to say thank you first to Kayla. Thanks for spending some time on a Saturday afternoon to connect and hear more about what's going on. So, Kayla, tell me a little bit about yourself and Every Daughter.
Yes. So my name is Kayla DuBois. I am one of the directors of Every Daughter. I'm the director of community mobilization and training. And Every Daughter is a group of women from several different churches around the Madison area that reach out to and provide support to women who are exploited through the sex industry in Dane County. So that includes through sex trafficking and prostitution. And one of the primary ways that we meet women is through our direct outreach program to women who are advertised online. So exploitation through the sex industry in Dane County is most often facilitated through online channels like adult websites or through social media. And so what we do for our outreach is we gather information of those advertisements for women who are being advertised for sex in Madison, and we directly reach out to the phone numbers in those ads. So when we reach out, we essentially offer to connect women with services and resources in the community if they're interested, and let them know that we're here as a support for them wherever they're at. In addition, really into that direct outreach, the kind of the heart and the soul of what we do at Every Daughter is that we journey alongside women in genuine relationship and friendship, offering support that's free of judgment and reflects the unconditional love of God. So along with connecting women with things they might need, like substance abuse treatment, mental health care, legal counsel, and even just basic needs like food and clothing and transportation, really the most significant part of what we do is just showing up, being a good listener and a good friend, and walking through the ups and downs of life with people. So it's not at all about rescuing victims, but just coming alongside people and entering into the lives of people and meeting them where they're at.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Kayla. That was great. I love what you're about. I love, especially as you said at the end, about meeting them where they're at, not about rescuing, but about relationship. And I think we all need that in every way, but especially this vulnerable population. So I would love to hear more about how, in light of COVID-19, things might look different, whether that's specifically in your work and what you do with women, or maybe just a big picture of how that hits these women in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. So kind of first off, just to elaborate on how COVID-19 is impacting exploited people. The pandemic obviously affects all of us in different ways, and the almost kind of shutting down of Dane County's social safety net really deeply impacts women and people on the margins of the community who are vulnerable in every way, but also with sexual exploitation and trafficking. So exploited people are becoming more vulnerable in almost every aspect of their lives. So those who were already having difficulty meeting their basic needs prior to COVID-19 continue to struggle to maintain shelter and food. To survive when there's even fewer employment opportunities, people are still advertising online and are at greater risk of contracting the virus. There are others who are confined to an unsafe living situation due to COVID-19 as a result of the safer at home order. Sexual exploitation is continuing online. Demand for pornography is increasing dramatically. And then women who are even already connected to services, so like women in the community who are suffering from addiction, are seeing kind of therapeutic services and treatment move to online platforms, and that can be more accessible in a way rather than needing to like drive to a place. So that's a good thing, but it can also just add to that feeling of isolation and loneliness and only being able to connect virtually. So similar with other services, centers that serve, people with disabilities or mental health struggles are closing and offering only online services. And again, that can sometimes be difficult to access. So I think overall, really just it's a continued struggle to meet basic needs, to access services, and vulnerability overall is increasing. Mm-hmm. So in terms of kind of how that affects us at Every Daughter with COVID-19, so we're continuing to work work with women. For those that we are already in relationship with, we're just connecting virtually. So maybe instead of going out for coffee with someone or meeting up, we're connecting by phone and by video. Our outreach team of volunteers, we still meet online. So we meet and have Zoom meetings. We can still collect information from ads. People are still advertising, and we reach out by text message right now. So we're still doing that and praying for women. So we're finding ways to adapt just like everyone else, and want to be there as a lifeline for women. We also have had some very generous donations that have specifically been given to support women who are experiencing hardship related to COVID-19. So we're working on distributing those funds to meet people's basic needs, and that includes both women that we're working with and also through our local partner, Project Respect, that works with and serves many exploited people in our community. Actually, just as of this week, we're also coming alongside Project Respect to help them with delivering groceries from food banks to exploited women's homes. So we're doing that with precautions and masks and gloves and keeping distance and all those things, but we're happy to help them with that, send some volunteers to kind of take the load off of them.
Wow, love it. You guys, to me, it doesn't sound like you're slowing down. Obviously, you're just adjusting. You are finding ways to keep serving and showing up. And what would it look like for us, for the city, for our county to come around you and support you in your mission right now?
Yeah, so I think, we know that a lot of people have been hit hard financially because of COVID-19, but those that are still in a position to be able to give, donations are certainly welcome to support our efforts in meeting needs for women. So that's how we kind of tangibly provide for people in their specific situation is through funds that we get from generous donations from people and from churches and organizations. So we know that with COVID-19, this is really just the beginning of what we're going to see. So the need is definitely there. So if people want to give, they can do that directly through our website at everydaughter.com. And then also if people want to kind of keep updated with our work, they can sign up for our quarterly newsletter. So we email out a letter once a quarter, a newsletter. So it's not very often, but we are not on social media. We kind of intentionally fly under the radar with all of that. So the newsletter is really kind of the best way to stay updated on what we're doing. And events, we had a virtual prayer meeting. So there are some things virtually that people can join and just kind of stay connected with what's going on and how they can pray more specifically on an ongoing basis. So again, at our website, everydaughter.com, you can go to the contact form and sign up there. And then obviously also praying, which I think we'll talk more about, but that's going to be a huge thing for us.
I would say that's my last question is, obviously, there are ways we can tangibly show up, and we want to do that. We don't want to just get stuck in our heads, but there are powerful ways we can be praying for you. I know that is true for you and your ministry and the women you are serving. So what are some of those prayer requests that we can be lifting up and praying?
Yeah, so prayer is a great way to support the work. Prayer is a super important part of Every Daughter, and we kind of cover every aspect of our outreach and ministry in prayer that's built into our DNA. So the prayer support is really, really important to us. So thank you guys for being willing. So in terms of specifically praying for people in the community who are both survivors of sexual exploitation and who are vulnerable to trafficking, we would love prayer for safety for them from COVID-19 and safety from traffickers or those that would be looking to exploit or take advantage of their increased vulnerability during COVID-19 for profit. So that's kind of just a basic one, but also really prayer for resources to flow in our community and to really reach the people who are most in need. And so in some ways that's through Every Daughter, but just entirely throughout the community. There's a lot of ways probably that you've been hearing to get connected. There's a lot of vulnerability happening right now. So just resources to flow to the people who need them and, for barriers to be eliminated for that to happen. And really, just for basic needs to be met. So for housing to be stable, and when people need to move or there's problems there, that affordable, accessible housing options would become available at the right time. That's a huge issue in the city. And also just for safe employment opportunities to be made available as our community adapts to the new normal. And then lastly, I think for the women is really connection and relationship. So we have connection and relationship with some women, but it's much more difficult to stay connected virtually. We even, with some of the women we work with, we've even seen them kind of fall out of contact or be out of contact for a while, and that is really hard. Normally we might go knock on their door or, be able to take some other steps that we can't take right now. And so that's sometimes where we feel, a little bit helpless to be able to know what to do. So we would love for prayer for women to stay connected to us and to other support people in their lives. Yeah. And even for women that we're just meeting now or we've met since COVID-19, it's just harder to develop good connections and relationships over phone calls instead of being able to be with people in person. So just praying for those connections and for people to feel supported and have someone that they can go to as they're kind of struggling through this. So lastly, I would just say for us at Every Daughter, we would love prayer for wisdom as we balance figuring out how to meet women's needs and keeping our volunteers and the community safe. Both now and as we really go along as COVID-19, this whole thing kind of rolls out and we, over the next year and things, there's just going to be a lot of discernment in terms of how do we adapt. And that's true, obviously, for everyone and also true for us. Along with that, just kind of creativity and energy as we adapt and think of new ways to serve and connect with women and meet needs. So it's a long list, but we would love prayer for all those things.
No, let's take it all. Take it. We love it. And I think the Lord loves it when we ask him, when we knock on his door and we plead. So we want to do that for you as a community and say that, Lord, you love these people and they are yours. They are your daughters and your sons, and we're going to show up for them. So thank you for all that you are doing, Kayla, personally, but also for your organization at large. It matters. We see you, so I want you to hear us say that too. Thanks for your time and just being able to share a little bit more about what's going on and how we can come around you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Collaboration Project.
Yay.
Everybody watching.